And then, of course, we need them to fill out the application process. Our goals of our program is to ensure that each of our students get into the best college of his or her ability. A lot of times when a student is interested in art, they might not excel, again, in traditional subjects. I'm going to use myself as an example. You know, I just got through Algebra 1 in high school. I did all my English. I only did 2 years of foreign language, but I was able to get in the Art Institute in Chicago, the Cleveland Institute of Art. So while I might not have, my counselor at my school looked at me and thought maybe I could get into community college. But the reality was I could get into the top-rated art schools in the school. So it is a definite, what I want to say, not a lot of people understand this. So that's one of the challenges that we're helping our students face. We also help them now to complete their MFA. And we have 2 students who are in their MFA, their masters. And also, again, in art, if you have an MFA, Master's in Fine Arts, again, example, my husband has his MFA. He teaches painting at UB. He's a professor. You don't need to get a PhD in order to teach art in college. So again, it's different than other things, and a lot of parents who may not be artists or in that art field don't understand the dynamics, and we're here to help those students and guide them through that. How do we achieve these goals? We work with students 11 years old all the way up to 18, and we provide 3 times a year. They get 6-week art courses, and in order to get in the program, everything is free. We don't ask them to pay for the art courses, the art supplies, and we focus on drawing and painting in these classes because that's the type of artwork that the colleges want to see. I'm always contacting colleges, making sure our students are doing what is expected for them to get into the schools. We also have development days. This is something that I've been working on for about a year now. And an example, the first one we had, I had the great-granddaughter of Harlem Renaissance artist, Meta Fuller. She came in. We actually first watched a movie about what the Harlem Renaissance was. We ate lunch. She talked about her great-grandmother and her experience as being part of the Harlem Renaissance. She actually brought in some bronze sculptures. They got to put on gloves, touch her bronze sculptures, look at them. They sketched them. And then there's an artist at the Buffalo Art Studio who pours bronze. So we went into his studio and they learned the process. So not only are we helping them work on their portfolio, we're also teaching them about art history and trying to make these classes and lessons relevant for them. We visit the Albright. We just went to the Birchfield last month, so I'll take them around to lots of different art organizations. We meet with graphic designers who work here in Buffalo, as well as painters. They work with artists. Last year we had an artist from New York City come, and they got to work with them individually. And then lastly, on top of that, we helped place them in summer placement programs. A couple of our students got to go through the mayor's work youth program, and so they had worked in janitorial jobs the year before, but then last year I had them work with me teaching other kids art. And let's see, and they do get connected with mentors now. This is something new too once they're a junior in high school. Our mentors are not artists, but our mentors are people who can help them transition from high school into art with SAT exams, that type of thing. We have some who are taking their kids to Philadelphia to look at the art institutes there. And that's basically it. Again, I have some information there. Contact me. I work part-time. I just work a few hours a week, so it might take me a few days to get a hold of you. I do talk with your teachers. Michelle Gesto, the head of the art education at Buffalo City Schools, on our board, and she's always contacting students, but I think it's important for me to kind of reach out to the parents. And if you guys ever need me to talk or have other parents, I'll be more than happy to come tell you more about the program. All right.
Let's get into that. If you got questions, James has a little while, you can go talk to her about questions. But didn't you say that most years that those spots go unfilled?
Yeah, well, right now, luckily we have some more money. I have about 15 students in the program, and I can increase it to 30.
Right. So that's a lot of the reason why the asked to come is because those are opportunities for parents to get our children involved at, and if we don't use them, the money, go to waste, and we don't want to see that happen. All right, the next item on our agenda is Buffalo West Even Family Start Literacy Program. D. Hippolito. Hey, D, how you doing? All right. Give me a hand for D as she comes.
Hi. Sorry I've been away for about 7 months, but I'm glad to be back. I'm D. Hippolito. I'm the program coordinator for Buffalo West Even Start. And the reason West is in there is because we mainly work on the west side. And let me tell you that we also only work with about 45 families a year, so that's why you probably never heard of us before. We usually hang way below the radar, so nobody really knows what we do. What we do is, I handed these out just in case you have no clue what I was talking about. If you didn't get one, I'm going to leave them up here on the table. We're a family literacy program. Started out as a federal program. Money flows through the state. And we're a partner with Buffalo Public Schools, obviously, Holy Cross Head Start, and Erie 2 BOCES, which is in Angola, which you would never think we'd be in Buffalo, but we are. We've also been in Buffalo on the west side, housed currently at Holy Cross Head Start. Been there for about 10 years. We were at the Bell Center before that for about 4 years. So we've worked with about 450 families easily. And what we do is we hire instructors, classroom teachers, social workers, who go out into the homes 2 times a month for a couple of hours, and we work with families, primarily right now, refugee families, because the west side has changed and many refugees are being relocated to the west side. In the program that we work with, the families are involved generally in ELL classes. I'm happy to say many of them come from the parent university. They go to school right there. Many of them also go to school over at Herkimer through Catholic Charities and through BOCES. Children generally are in up to about age 8, so we work with all of the schools on the lower and upper west side. So 30, 3, 76, so 95, 30, 18, 19. We're familiar with all of the teachers in the kindergarten, first and second grades over in those schools too. So I'm happy to see the people again tonight. What we do is, you saw this, family literacy involves 4 different components. It involves the adult being in an educational program, the child being in an educational program, the parents working in parenting education programs, and then the home instructors, family educators, take all the information from those other programs, meld it all together, and then go into the home and do instruction in following up on adult ed, early childhood ed, and parenting ed. We collaborate with probably every organization you've ever heard of on the west side. We work with the library, we work with EPIC extensively, we work with the Parent Network, Literacy Volunteers. All of those groups provide resources to provide family literacy services. And before Sam stands up here and says, you have 1 more minute, I'm going to say that if you have any knowledge of any families who need our service, please feel free to send us out, and I'll even give you our fax number, which I did not put on there for under the radar number reasons. It's 854-7046. 854-7046, and it's D. And if you send it to me at Holy Cross Head Start, I'll get it. Any questions? See? I really fly under the radar. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda, we're going to get our 2 resolutions voted on, and then we'll go to the old business. First resolution that we're going to vote on is having to do with the Vivian Evans issue. Is there somebody want to bring the motion so we can open the floor for discussion? Somebody want to make the motion?
Yes, from what I understand, Vivian Evans is not living in the city of Buffalo, and she represents, not here to represent us in the city. So what I'd like to do, I'd like to make a motion that we invite her to come into our meeting so that she can answer questions and allow us to get an honest answer from her so that before we take a position on that.
All right, the motion is on the floor that we invite Vivian Evans to the DPCC meeting to be able to answer questions from parents about how she can represent us outside the city, not living in the city of Buffalo. Is there a second to the motion? There's a second to the motion. All right, the floor is open for discussion.
Who made the second?
Yes, 297. All right, anybody got any questions? Anybody don't know about what's going on here? Is everybody informed about what's going on as a general rule? Vivian Evans, who's elected to the school board to represent the East District, moved out of town to take a job in Maryland in September, or no, maybe even earlier than that. I think she moved out, in August. She doesn't know. She no longer lives here, but she has a house here. So legally, the Board of Education is saying they can't do anything because she has domicile here. Even though she lives in Maryland, she maintains a home here, so they say she has the right to stay the school board member. So she's been to 4 of the 9 school board meetings, and so parents have a number of parents, and 2-parent groups have called asking that we do something about it. We bring it before the Board of Education, but what we told them is that we would bring it before this body first, let this body take a position, and if this body, whatever this body position was, we would take it back to the Board of Education and give the parents' position on what we want to happen with Vivian Evans, what our concerns are as it relates to elected board member Vivian Evans. So, anybody got any questions or any points you want to make under discussion? Mr. Bergen and here.
I think it's totally ridiculous. It's an affront to all the parents that's trying to really do something in that district.
All right. Yeah.
So when are we inviting her? Is this going to be a 6-month process and she's going to get paid to do? This should be.
No, we're gonna. If there's a vote to invite her, we're gonna invite her for the next meeting.
So basically, she'll be getting paid until February but I mean, it's going to take that long to make a decision. That
well, I mean, at this point, she's gonna be she's the elected representative until she's not. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's because she's recalled or because the board makes a decision to not have her there, but either way it go, at this point, she's the elected representative. So there's nothing that we have the power to do to change that. All we can do as a DPCC is take the responsible position of at least hearing what she's talking about, and then making our recommendation as the parent body for the school district, making our recommendation about or let the board know what our concerns about it is.
Just a reminder, the next meeting is, I believe, January 4th. So it's the
isn't this
beginning.
something that should be a special session for this? I mean, something, because if she lived in the city, we can say, hey, next week we're having a meeting. We wouldn't have to give a 2 months notice for you to come to that meeting.
We can invite you to the next meeting though, which is January 4th. That's our next DPC meeting. So that gives a month's notice, and then if she shows or doesn't show, that kind of gives us the standpoint of where we could sit there and say, well, you didn't present your point, so now we make a position, or she does present her point, okay, then what do we want to do after that?
Anybody else? Anybody else on discussion? All right, none else on discussion? I'm sorry. Yeah? I'm sorry, go.
Children are already in trouble, and if you live in another city, you're not there to really see or go visit whatever school you represent and see if there is a problem.
Good point. That's a valid point. So those are questions that she has to answer. So obviously, the best we can do is invite her to see if she's in a position to answer, and then from that point, we make a decision about what we want to do as DPCC. So is there any other discussion? So is there no discussion? All in favor of inviting, drafting a letter, expressing what the concerns have been represented by parents are, and inviting Mrs. Evans to the meeting to address the parents, indicate by raising your hand. Oh wow, 2 hands, okay. All right, anybody opposed? All right.